Hi, my name is Vijay. Today I'm discussing about Linux administration at day one. Uh, Coming to the Linux administration, what is a Linux? A Linux is an open source Unix-like operating system based on Linux kernel. The open source Linux developed under general public license. That means users can modify the uh, can that means any user can modify that, okay, that for their requirements like uh, CentOS, Ubuntu, Kali Linux, it etc. What is Linux used for? Linux is open source operating system. We know an operating system is the software that directly manage system's hardware and resources like CPU, memory, and storage. That's it. And why we use Linux? The Linux operating system is very stable. The purpose of usage is Linux operating system is very stable, reliable, and less prone to crash than otherwise. Even Microsoft also chose Linux to power their Azure cloud computing services instead of their own Windows server OS. Okay, and coming to the what are the Linux alternatives? Microsoft Ubuntu, G2DLs, CentOS, Windows 7, RHEL Linux, macOS, Linux Mint, Debian. Okay, and coming to the Linux administration, shell is an important role in Linux. That means the shell is the function of shell in the Linux command line interface. It is a interpreter between user and kernel to execute commands. That means the user can able to execute a command through the shell. Okay, and what is a command in Linux? Okay, what is a command in Linux is each and every command having the scripted programs to run command. Okay, command means it is a scripted program. Okay, uh, what is the kernel in Linux? Kernel is the main component in Linux OS. Kernel is the core interface between computer hardware and its process. And also kernel allocates resources, computer hardware resources to execute command. And I'm explaining about a circuit. What is the architecture of Linux architecture? This is the architecture. This is hardware. On top of hardware is a kernel and drivers. And on top of drivers, there's a shell. On top of shell user. That means kernel is drivers are placed in kernel. That means drivers. The main function of drivers is drivers can able to access the hardware resources. Okay, so okay, the main function of kernel is interface between hardware and process. The kernel, a kernel you already shell also converts user commands like into binary language and binary language to user readable format. That means what is a binary language? Is binary is 0 and 1 it converts user um, readable format to binary and binary format to user. That means provide it is a shell is interpreter between user and kernel. Okay, and what is the main function of drivers? Is drivers can detect hardware, all connected, all devices, all hardware resources in the computer. Okay, and on top of SELinux is one security enhanced Linux. It is a security architecture for Linux. It allows administrators to have more control over who can access the system. It was developed by the United States Security Agency. And what is open source? Source code available is the source code available to user, and any user can download and modify it according to general public license. I have already discussed it about. And coming to the versions, let me add note one. I'm, I'm explaining about Red Hat versions or RHEL versions. I find RHEL 9. The fresh OS is RHEL 9 Red Hat. 5.2, 5.3, RHEL 8, and 5.2, 5.4, RHEL 7, and 5.5, RHEL 6, and 5.6, 5, and 5.7, 4, and 5.8, 3, and 5.9. 2.1. These are our versions. The latest version of Red Hat 5.2 Red Hat line version 9 was released in May 17, 2022. 17, 2022. In this latest model, Red Hat introduced Docker's containers concept in Red Hat version 9. Okay, it's coming to that shell interface. In Linux environment, 90% of applications will running only on Linux platform. Okay. CentOS and Linux provide tech support. Main to other otherwise CentOS, these all are not provide any support, tech support, so that's why people they have product security supports and all things. Okay, and this is about the Red Hat introduction day one. Now I am gonna make winding up my session. This is the concept.